tell us a story.
Yes, tell us a story.
Alrighty. It has been raining for the last 2 days, almost constant. A lot of things got flooded out, had a lot of electrical problems in the area, so hopefully everything's okay at the store. When I was a kid, it was a big deal about fishing. There wasn't usually a week that went by that if I was visiting my grandparents or out someplace and stuff, that we didn't go fishing. My grandfather, my mother's father, had some really odd or strange ways of fishing. I mean, he used this tremendous amount of weight. He used super big hooks. He used 80 to 110 pound test line. It looked like on his reel, it looked like you just wound up a big spool of weed whacker line. That's how big it looked. I mean, huge back then. By today's standards, I mean, they can make 100-pound test line that's really, really, really thin. Okay. We used to go to Florida once or twice a year, and then we started later on, we started going to Canada. But when we were in Florida, there'd be times that we'd be down there fishing off the piers or on the surf, throwing way out. There had been days when people, even locals, nobody was catching anything, but my grandfather would be sitting on a spot, and he'd be pulling in the horseshoe crabs, the stingrays, little sharks, other fish, other whatever type of aquatic animals that were there. And nobody ever, they'd look at him and they'd watch him and they'd look at him and watch him and see what was going on. And they could never tell what he was doing different, other than he was casting out and fishing on the bottom using a heavy-duty gear. And, one time they went up and asked him, he says, what are you using? What kind of bait are you using? He goes, well, just regular bait. And they go, no. He said, listen, we've tried eggs. We've tried the fish type eggs, the salamander eggs, the shrimp, the minnows, the live bait, the this, the that, all kinds of stuff. And he says, I'm using hot dogs. And they said, hot dogs? He said, yep. He said, you mean wieners, hot dogs, like people eat? And he goes, yeah. So they all went and got hot dogs and everything, and they were fishing and fishing and fishing and fishing, and they still weren't catching anything, and they were shaking their head. And I was sitting next to him, and he pulled in his reel and put on a hot dog, spit a big chaw of chewing juice, because he used to chew tobacco, big chewing juice on it, and flipped it out there. Within just a few minutes, had something else, was reeling it in. And people just were still, they'd get closer to him and was trying to get any spot, and then he'd pick up and move someplace else. This spot wouldn't catch anything. He'd be catching them over there. He spit on that, flipped it back out there, and caught something. He looked over at me and winked. I laughed and laughed and laughed. He told him the secret, but he didn't tell him all of his secret. I guess the fish just loved that sweet, nasty, tobacco-y chew, because I know it was horrid. Well, we're going to get in there, go for warm it up a little bit, see if we can see out of the window, get some defrost going. Let's ride. I remember a lot of times out with my grandfather fishing, and I've got a lot of those stories, but he was a character. I really loved him, oh. He was something else. He had his own way of life, and the joy he got out of it. I never saw anybody that worked as hard as he did. It was just amazing in what he did. Taught me so much about automobiles, and it was something else. It's cool to think back on those things. Well, we're here at work. We're going to get in. We're going to start our day. See what that brings. See ya.
Story time is over.
Damn, that was annoying.